What is up, and welcome back to another episode of So There's That. I'm your hostess, doing the mostest, Kivanchi, and we are here with Dexter Resurrection, the 2 episode premiere. Episodes 1 and 2 premiere today on Paramount Plus. If you have Showtime through Paramount Plus, okay. Now, if you don't, it's cool, and you just got regular Showtime and you're not trying to pay for Paramount Plus, it is going to debut on Sundays as well on Showtime at 10/9 Central. Okay. But your girl already watched it. Know what I mean? And we are going to try to do some non-spoiler thematic recaps of episodes 1 and 2 titled A Beating Heart and Camera Shy. Now, before we get into everything, y'all know I gotta do my spiel. So the log line for Dexter Resurrection. Dexter Morgan awakens from a coma and sets out for New York City, determined to find Harrison and make things right. But when Miami Metro's Angel Batista arrives with questions, Dexter realizes his past is catching up to him fast. The genre, crime mystery / drama. The writers for episode 1 are Jeff Lindsay and Clyde Phillips. The writers for episode 2 are Tanner Bean and Katrina Mathewson. The director for both episodes is Marcos Siega. The cinematographer for both episodes is Joe Collins. The composer is Pat Irwin. And the main cast across both of these episodes are Michael C. Hall, obviously reprising his role as Dexter Morgan. Jack Alcott, who plays Harrison Morgan, which is Dexter's son. And Thurman, who plays Charley. Okay, so we're gonna break this up since it's a 2 episode premiere, and I want to get this stuff out to y'all. So I'm gonna give these episodes nicknames. I've never done it before, but I just feel like these episodes in this season is just gonna make me think of like an alternate name. So the nickname I gave episode 1 is Look Up Marlin, Say Cheese. Okay, so I already told you in the log line, Dexter wakes up from a coma. So Dexter was in a 10-week coma after Harrison shot him the last time we saw them together. He shot him and he left him out in the ice cold for dead. Why? Because while his dad was like trying to teach him the ways, the same way that his father taught him, Harrison was really having a hard time grappling with his killer thoughts and wanting to be good and wanting to make different choices and better choices, regardless of the fact that his father was like, listen, you're going to want to kill because my daddy wanted to kill and I wanted to kill. And so it's just in you, not on you. And Harrison was just kind of like, I feel like we can break generational and genetic curses by not doing that. So in order for me to be free of this affliction, I have to be free of you. And so that was a decision that was made. But surprise, he ain't gonna stay down forever. And so he's back. Okay, baby, I'm back. Come in when you wanna get hot, 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 hot. Okay. Oh no, my phone. So one of the biggest themes for episode 1 is regret and remorse, and then starting over. So this is a shared theme between Harrison and Dexter, because now you really got to look back at the choices in your life and really be like, okay, is this the path that I want to go down? Now, they're dealing with these in 2 distinctly different ways. Dexter don't necessarily feel bad that he was out here. Oh my God. I hate when you put on like lip gloss and then everything sticks to your mouth. But Dexter was really out here just killing bad guys because he wasn't going to stave off any of these urges. And so he drew a moral and ethical murderous line within himself and just followed a specific code. His remorse and his regret is really about his son. For the longest time, he was just out here killing everybody without really having to account to anybody for real. Didn't matter if there were any relationships or anything like that. He didn't really have anybody looking up to him. And now your son is back in your life. You realize that you was a coward in not raising him. And now it's like, dang, when I showed my son like my ways, was that really the best course of action to try to bond with him? Like, is severing a body like the equivalent to the father son like Boy Scout outing? Like, I don't know what was going on in his brain and the synapses to come to those conclusions, but it seems like he regrets that decision. And the remorse just kind of comes in the fact that he's wondering, like, did I alter my son and make things worse? Now, on the other side of things, Harrison is dealing with regret and remorse wrapped in a nice little PTSD package because at the end of the day, yeah, he learned, some things from his father, how to chop up a body, how to get everything clean, but like, you shot your dad. That's not something that you can just get over and get through. And so while he's moved to New York and he's trying to make a life for himself and try to be as normal as possible, he's still afflicted by the memory because this is a life altering event. It didn't matter that he shot him because he felt like he was going to stop him, because he felt like this would be the thing that helps him lead a normal life. It's just not normal to believe that you killed somebody and not have it haunt you in some way, shape, or form. Now, in this thing, we're dealing with what it looks like with nature versus nurture. So there is a pivotal event in this episode, and Harrison is kind of like in this tumultuous situation within himself, within his own psyche, his values, and his beliefs. Am I the thing that I was born to do? Or am I the person that I curated? Am I the person who is still hanging on to the values and the good in me from which I was surrounded when I was growing up? And this is tested in ways like the bystander effect. What will you do when you see somebody getting ready to commit a crime or do something that is morally and ethically wrong, whether it's a crime or not? Is it something that you walk away from? Is it something that you can turn a blind eye to? Or are you going to tap into the Father in you and take justice into your own hands? And one of the cool things that I like about Harrison's character is with nature versus nurture, this is one of those cool characters where it's like, what came first, the chicken or the egg? Because in the scenario that he's faced with, one might argue that the blend of the two like merged and existed in this type of subspace within him where on a molecular level you weren't really able to see the beginning nor the end of nature versus nurture. And with Harrison's character, this is actually a really cool way to explore Dexter in a way. I'm pretty sure that I think Dexter Original Sin was the spinoff about like how he kind of got into this. But it's something about that apple and that tree analogy that really puts a lot of things into perspective. When you're a parent and you have a child, regardless of what age that they meet you, whether they grew up with you, whether you're reconnecting at a later life, there's a lot of things that you're going to see in that child that you recognize of yourself. You're going to recognize it of your partner. There's going to be some things that you don't recognize at all. And then there's going to be something that is all that child's own. And episode 1 really just locks you into Harrison as a character in this spinoff. And I don't know that we've seen Harrison in this way. He was a kid who was lost and trying to understand himself, and he's trying to find his father and just figure out like what his identity is. And now with everything that happened with the last time that we saw him, there's a whole identity crisis, but there's this shared connection to his father where he understands that the police aren't going to get it right. The police aren't always going to have the resources nor the time to even put into solving crimes. And so think about any true crime shows that you've seen, or just think about when you were in high school or at work and you heard somebody make offhanded, like, how do I want to put it? Offhanded comments about committing acts of violence, whether it's true violence, whether it's sexual violence. You hear them say things about kids that kind of make you feel like, but you just nervously laugh through it, or everybody's like, oh no, I'm just joking, I'm joking. And you have those moments where it's like, okay, with every joke, there's a kernel of truth. And this is the path that I feel Harrison is going to be on as he comes into his own on what is his left and right of ethics and morals. Whereas Dexter, as we've seen over the years, has very clear, like, what's left and right of his ethics and his moral codes. But with kids, right? They're going to challenge you. Everything that you thought you knew about yourself, they're going to upend all of that shit. And Dexter is now in a precarious situation because your son is out in this world and you know that he's in a volatile emotional situation just because he thinks he killed you. But you are also trying to protect him from the shadows and just watch over him and make sure that he's developing as normal as he can as a grown man. So episode 1, like, out of the gate, the themes are very strong. Okay, they are theme forward. You don't have to guess what's going on. And to wrap it all in a bow, you really are looking at like what self-forgiveness looks like and the stages that an individual goes through to forgive themselves. And I think for Dexter as a whole, like Dexter universe, a lot of it was like rationalization. And now I think for the first time, we're looking at Dexter truly evaluate forgiving himself, because now it's not just about you. There's a whole other person out here that you didn't even train, that you had no control over. And so what mistakes is he going to make? What things is he going to do better than you if he chooses to go down that path? Will you make him like dark? Is he corrupt? And then when you look at what corrupt is, the answer is yes in both ways. He's corrupted by me, even if he chooses to never kill again, because I made him shoot me. I literally caused him his greatest trauma. But if he chooses to go down that path, is he corrupt? Well, yes, too, because you also taught him how you kill and how to get away with it. Like, I don't know, y'all. It's juicy out here. It's juicy. And that leads us into episode 2 in this outfit. Now, normally I just be getting on here because I be keeping my temperature at like 67, 66 degrees up in here, but the hoodie means things. And if you're watching this and you haven't seen episode 2, go watch episode 2 and then you'll understand. But again, I'm working on spoiler-free recaps. Y'all tell me if you like it. If you want me to spill a tea, you can tell me that too. Okay? Because I'm going to make it do what it do. Did y'all know I was a rapper? I know. Bars. Episode 2, the nickname I'm going to give it is Nightmare on New York Street. Yes, love it. Now, this episode, the themes were rolling over from episode 1, but I felt like episode 2 started to narrow it down very specifically. Now, we only got 10 episodes this season, and it's going to be airing weekly, okay? Dropping on Paramount Plus, 1 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on Fridays. So if you're a night owl on the East Coast, it's for you. I live in the mountain zones. That's 11 p.m. I'm just hitting my stride at 11 o'clock, so it is what it is. So I be up, basically. But where was I going with this? Yes. So I feel like the themes were getting a lot more specific. Okay. So first and foremost, and this is like the greatest blanket on episode 2, is ride share safety. Now, just globally, we've seen cases and news articles and stuff like that where the drivers are bringing harm to the passengers. Y'all know, like when that whole Uber gate was going down, they lost a lot of women passengers, and a lot more women ended up, even now after Uber went public and, turned over leadership and everything like that, more women still use Lyft than Uber because of everything that was going on, and just like the unsafe protocols, and really like the culture of like dick swinging and beating your chest as a man. And they were cutting a lot of corners just to make a dime. So a lot of laws that were hyper focused on protecting the passengers, and that is absolutely important. But what does a serial killer look like? It looks like anybody, right? And so what is in place to protect the drivers? And in this episode, right, something happened that I've actually seen happen in real life. So it's not like a major spoiler, it's like a minor spoiler. But people do this all the time. You'll get people, they go up to their rideshare or whatever. So like for me, I go up to my rideshare. Before I get in, I check the license plates, and then I check the license plate on my app. I check the picture. I check the picture on the person who's driving the car. I'm looking at the car, make and model. I'm doing all those things. I share my ride details, all of that. And the drivers typically will yell out like, "Oh, are you this?" And then I'll confirm like, it's me. So they confirm my name. I confirm their name. 2 points of confirmation. I done walked all around this car. Now I'm getting in this car and somebody is sharing it. But oftentimes I do see cars pull up, and a lot of people have similar make and models of cars. And I'll see like people going up to the car, and they're opening the door and they're getting in, and then they're already in the car, and they realize like, it's not their car until they get out. But then conversely with the drivers, I see the drivers just yell out like, "Oh, are you Robert?" And then they're just like, "Yeah." And then they get in. And so the drivers are saying the name. And that happens to me too. The driver is saying, "Are you this person?" Instead of having that person confirm their name and you just check it against the app. Okay, y'all follow me. So if I'm pulling up to the curb, boom, 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 walk with me. Boom, 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 boom. "Hey, are you Ashley?" "Yeah." They get in. It's really Bridget the Butcher. But you didn't let her like say nothing. You just threw out her name. And then they said yes. So in this episode, this is one of the things that I feel really highlights a flaw in the rideshare system as it pertains to protecting the drivers. What are the alternative modes of identification before accepting somebody in your car? We've already moved from taxi culture to rideshare culture, And, depending on what you want, like from a regular ride up until Uber Black or Lyft Black, what's the standard for like a regular ride from Uber Black, and why are they different? Why, when I get in Lyft Black, because I don't ride Uber, why when I get into Lyft Black, do they verify who I am by, saying, what's your name? I even had somebody be like, hey, your picture on here doesn't look like you now. So can you update it? Bet. Somebody who cares about their safety. But depending on just, I'm just trying to do this quick ride or whatever, you're not getting those same levels. And so it just lets me know that it's not a standardized process. And I really need to do that. Why? Because you end up in situations like this episode, okay? It was a long roundabout way of not giving away what's going on, but like giving you like a hint of what's happening in this episode. If you watched it, you already know. So yeah, rideshare safety for the drivers. Do better. This theme, I don't know if anybody else picked up on it, but I picked up on it. Guilty parenting. Dexter is guilty as hell. He feels sick. And Harrison is not making the best moves. What do guilty parents do all the time? They buy you everything. They trying to win your love through all of these different ways. And when you make a mess, they're not teaching you any lessons. They're cleaning it up for you. So how do you know how to get better moving on when the parent is fixing all of your mistakes? Dexter, babes, that is not what a father makes. Like, no, sir. I'm going to need you to let Harrison fall and get back up on his wobbly little legs and figure out how to put one foot in front of the other. Like, I'm going to need you to know how to do that. Otherwise, you are going to be messing up. You're going to be so busy trying to fix your son's mistakes that you are going to end up making very critical mistakes that cost you in the long run. Your ass already was locked up. The last time we saw you was in a whole jail cell and had to kill somebody to get out. What are we doing? It's a responsibility that Dexter is walking in. He has no idea what he's doing at all. And something tells me that this is going to be the thing that gives us a killer, all puns and no pun intended, a killer finale. I just feel like episode 10 is about to be crazy. I just feel like episode 10 is about to blow our minds because there is a shift in Dexter that we haven't seen before. And it's a foundational shift. Is it good or bad? I don't know. Y'all gotta watch it every week. But I'm just saying, I predict episode 10 is gonna be splitting some hairs on that one. Next, like I already said before, in episode 1, still dealing with like what those fine lines are of ethics and morality and how they work together. So, no, I can't say that. That's a huge spoiler. This is hard. So, like, I mean, I guess there's just no real definitive ethical code on like killers. Some people don't kill kids. Some people don't kill women. Some people don't kill women or kids. It's a whole thing. But then when you set your ethics and your morals on like, okay, I'm going to kill bad guys, right? It's not like Interview with a Vampire where you're the vampire and you can already see that these people did these horrible things. What if you kill somebody and it was based on credible rumors, but it ends up not being true? How can you define who's good and who's bad without getting yourself super close to that person and making a determination after seeing something that is hard fact? And I think that that's going to be Harrison's struggle throughout the entire season. I mean, you're dealing with Harrison at an age and in a generation where, I don't know, eating meat could be somebody's like trigger or whatever. You just never really know with somebody with volatile emotions what that line is going to look like. So will Harrison end up killing people that should not be killed because his ethical and moral codes lie in something that is just hyper personal and not necessarily rational, logical, or realistic? Who knows? But I just feel like he is so lost and just being shaken up by killing his dad. I just see the lines being super blurred, and that being the distinct difference between Dexter's kill signature and motivations and Harrison's kill signature and motivations. I hope that makes sense. I hope that makes sense. I feel like how I'm explaining this would be better if I had like a co-host, but I hope y'all are following me. I hope y'all are fine. Again, I'm trying something new. Trying something new. Next week, when I talk about episode 3, I'm gonna be talking about everything in these first 2 episodes. So yeah, I'm just trying something different, you know what I'm saying? Gotta keep it fresh. Next, I feel like in this episode, we are definitely dealing with consequences and memory. Memory is a Monster is one of my favorite titles from one of my favorite TV shows of the 21st century, Interview with a Vampire. But I feel like this theme is coming up everywhere. And the fact that Interview with a Vampire had an episode titled Memory is a Monster, I feel like that just applies to so many things. Harrison and Dexter are haunted by memories. And these memories are demons of their own making. And it is hard to get out. You can't eat, you can't sleep, your smile never reaches your eyes, you're questioning everybody's motives and intentions around you. You're so hyper focused on their tone because you're dealing with your own guilt. You're dealing with your own trauma, and you don't know what's real or what's not, what's going to break you, and what you're actually capable of moving forward with. Now, Dexter has killed so many people in his life, but like I said, having a child changes things. So structurally, both Harrison and Dexter are going down a parallel path. The difference is one is just now coming into adulthood and the other one has already been an adult. So we have 2 different lenses approaching the same problem, probably going to come to vastly different conclusions because there's just a maturity level, a skill and experience level that one has over the other. And so while Dexter may be able to face the consequences, swallow them, and just be like, it is what it is. I mean, you had your own son shoot you. Harrison is going to struggle throughout this whole thing. And in both of these episodes, we are really seeing a struggle with Harrison. Even if you're on Harrison's sides for all of tongue-tied, all of the decisions that he made, it doesn't necessarily absolve you, the audience, of connecting with him and understanding some of the struggles that he's facing, even if in your own fictional world you would have did the same thing. So I just really, really love Harrison as a character. Like, that type of character is how you refresh a series. I'm not gonna say no names. I'm not gonna say no names. But that is how you refresh a series. You take the same elements that everybody already knows. It's like your grandma's recipe. She about to give you all the stuff that she did. And you love grandma's recipe. But it's been 50 years. There's new ingredients. You already know that there's certain substitutes that you can do to make certain flavors pop. You can remove some of the things that are bad for you or that causes high cholesterol and give it like a healthier replacement or just an alternative flavor replacement for that same thing. So structurally and foundationally, it's the same recipe, but you added your own little things in there that even make your grandma tell you that you put your foot off up in. That is what Harrison is. Dexter is the original recipe, and Harrison is like the new thing. You got waffles, and then you got blueberry waffles, strawberry waffles, chocolate chip waffles. Like that is what Harrison is to this series. And his characters stand out so much that he's not falling into the shadows of his father. So that means as both characters are helming the show, even though Michael C. Hall is leading it as Dexter, he as in Harrison can probably have episodes where maybe there's like a couple of filler episodes where we don't even see what Dexter is doing and we're just walking through the lens of Harrison. Jack Alcott can absolutely hold his own because his character is that unique, but still embedded and connected to the titular character too. So I'm genuinely enjoying like how I feel watching him and watching him alongside Dexter. I don't know, it feels good. Not all spinoffs can do that. Not all reboots when they're trying to make things new can do that. When you hold on to the old model and think that you don't need to make any changes with a newer audience, or even not even just a newer audience but a more experienced audience. I am not the same age I was when Dexter first came out. So how I process the information given to me in these shows is going to be much different. I'm going to have a more logical lens, but more than logic, because these shows are fictional, I'm going to have a more critical lens, and I'm going to look a lot deeper into things like the theme than I would have as a 20-year-old, where I'm like, oh, he killed him and chopped him up in the church. Like, that's crazy. Like, it's just going to be a different way that I evaluate the information that's given to me. And so I feel like through Dexter and Harrison, there is such a really solid balance of both of these characters moving forward. And I just really, really hope that they can continue to capitalize off this formula and their dynamic and their chemistry in the writer's room, and we get multiple seasons. So there's that. Dexter Resurrection, episodes 1 and 2 for the new spinoff premiere in the Dexter universe. I already kind of said what I predict in the future-ish as far as like themes and things that I'm looking forward to. Like I already said, next week we're going to be spoiling all of this shit from episodes 1 and 2. This was actually kind of difficult. Yeah, this was difficult, but we're gonna work through it. We're gonna work through it. Okay, I'm about to use elements of my strategy class and just kind of see what happens. Maybe people want to come to here and they don't want to hear like breakdown by breakdown, but maybe I said something in the theme that they didn't think about, and now y'all can talk about it in the comments like y'all always do. And I love that. And so with that, I'm gonna wrap up this episode. As always, like, share, subscribe, hit that notification bell, leave comments in the comments box below. I know I got some OG Dexter's fans that follow me, and if you're not an OG fan, just go ahead and hop up in here anyway if you already saw the episodes. If you got people that only want to listen to me, make sure you share that Spotify and the Apple Podcast link, okay? I'm really good on plane rides and long road trips, okay? You can find me on Instagram at So There's That Podcast, where I talk about all film and TV news and updates, things that I do not talk about on this platform. You can also follow me on TikTok, where I do more short form reviews, 10 minutes or less, about shows that I don't talk about on this platform as well. It gets crazy in the comments, and by crazy, I mean good. So if TikTok is your thing, go ahead and find me over there as well and interact with me. Let's see what's up. What shows you like? Maybe I'm talking about stuff over there that I'm not talking about over here. Okay? Hop, skip, jump right on over to them comments. And as always, on Twitter at KeepOnShe, you can catch me talking my shit in the hashtags and just spewing my thoughts on the timeline, because genuinely, I just watch a lot of TV and watch a lot of movies because I love it. And I wouldn't be doing any of this if I didn't love it at all. Why? Because I don't get paid. Ain't nobody asking me to advertise for them. I'm just a girl. I'm just a girl. And with that, I will catch y'all in the next episode.